So when you're home all the time, you start looking for things to do, such as cracking jokes to an audience of nobody. Or sometimes you prefer to play a board game like Monopoly. Now, growing up, I didn't really like playing Monopoly because the game took forever. I always thought it would be better to set a 30-minute time limit, and whomever had the most cash and assets at the end of the 30-minute timer is the winner. If you play the game until everyone gets bankrupt, I just feel like that just takes way too long. But when you're home all day long during a pandemic, sometimes you don't mind playing a game all day long. So I call that game COVID-19 Coronopoly. Basically, you start from the goal square and you roll the dice. And the first thing you land on, you decide whether or not you want to buy it. And that thing happens to be gasoline. Who would have thought that oil prices would be so low? Normally, you would expect something like oil or gasoline to be near the end of the Monopoly board. But in COVID-19 Coronopoly, it's near the beginning. In fact, if you land on the question mark, you have a chance of drawing a card that says oil prices are at an all-time low of negative $20. So you decide to fill up the car at the service station, and the gas attendant gives you $200. Pick up $200. Wow! Incredible. Free tank of gas. No, I mean actually, not only is it free tank of gas, you get paid to drive away with a full tank of gas. So more people should be buying cars now. Besides, during a pandemic, you don't really want to take the bus anyway, so you might as well buy a car and fill it up. Now, if gasoline is so cheap, you must wonder, then what's on the boardwalk square on the other end of the Coronopoly board? Toilet paper, of course. Who would have guessed? See, you never think how essential toilet paper is in your life. It's used for more than wiping your bottom end. Funny thing is, we see toilet paper as essential when half the world doesn't have toilet paper. Millions of people don't even have a toilet. In some places, they don't even have running water. You just squat outside somewhere and do your business and wash your bum with a bucket. We talk about picking up after your dog. In some places, you don't even pick up after yourself. It's laughable that TP now holds the most expensive block on the Coronopoly board. And if you buy both toilet paper and hand sanitizer, now you can build a hotel. Then you can charge rent for anyone staying at your hotel. Except it costs a fortune because it's at the end of the Coronopoly board. But it makes sense because you're the only hotel with toilet paper and hand sanitizer. But nobody really wants to travel during a pandemic anyways. Except in Coronopoly, you don't really have a choice. You roll a dice and you find yourself, by sheer luck, in the toilet paper hotel, whether or not you wanted to travel. So what are the other three highly coveted items on the other side of the board? Well, obviously masks, gloves, and respirators. Did I just say masks and respirators? Well, they're not quite the same thing. So you can certainly buy a mask on one square, followed by a respirator on a different square. I know some people don't know the difference, so let's go through that. A mask is a face covering. So for example, you can wear a Halloween mask, that's a face covering. If you wear a ski mask in the winter, that's a face covering. You're probably thinking of a surgical mask, the type that you normally see doctors and dentists wearing. Except now most of them are wearing respirators. So what's a respirator? It is a type of face covering, so it is also a type of mask. Except the key difference is that a respirator is fit tested for your face so that there is no air flowing between your cheeks and the respirator. That means when you breathe, all the air has to pass through the filter of the respirator itself. Anyways, I digress. So if you manage to buy mask, gloves, and respirator, now you can build hotels. I suppose more like hospitals. And then when people drop by, they have to pay rent. As for the four pieces on the middle of each side of your Coronopoly board, these are healthcare facilities, not railroads. So there are four of them. There's a hospital, there's a pharmacy, there's a doctor's office, and the fourth one is a coronavirus testing tent. All very important. Yeah, these are all essential establishments, so they're all equal value. Except if you buy them all, then you get a premium because now you've just monopolized the whole healthcare system of the town. So basically what you got now is you bought all the toilet paper, all the hand sanitizer, the masks, respirators, gloves, and all the healthcare facilities. So what else? I guess utilities? You always need water and electricity anyways. But before you get too excited about monopolizing everything on the Coronopoly board, you have to remember that diseases do not discriminate. You see, a prime minister and a prince have been infected with COVID-19. So you're not immune. Everyone has a chance of getting sick. So the next time you land on the chance question mark, you might draw a card that says, you have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Go to jail / detention center. And you stay in the jail / detention center to quarantine unless you happen to have a get out of quarantine card. Now, you have to realize that people stay sick for different durations of time. That makes sense. So some people will stay in quarantine for shorter durations of time, and some people stay there for longer periods of time. Some people are lucky, they have mild symptoms and recover very quickly. They roll the dice, they get out. Some people take a long time to recover. Some people never recover, they don't make it. So let's do some math here. If you roll a 6, you have a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 6. And 6 times 6 is 36. So you have a 1 out of 36 chance of rolling a pair of 6s. Or 2 6s. Okay, you have a 1 out of 36 chance of rolling 2 6s. So that's about 3%. That means you have about a 3% chance of dying from the coronavirus. Now, normally rolling a double 6 is considered lucky, but not when you're sick with COVID-19, because a pair of 6s will kill you. Because of all the things you bought, there's one thing that you didn't have that could save you. You don't have a ventilator. And if you look all around the board, you'll see lots of things to buy, but you will not find a ventilator to buy. Because you were not lucky enough to pick up a ventilator from the community chest. And you were unlucky enough to roll 2 6s while you were sick with COVID-19. So you go to the graveyard. And all your properties are released to the cheer of the other players remaining in the game. Because everyone is so happy that you died because you were the one who hoarded all the toilet paper, hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, respirators, and healthcare facilities. Oh, and did I say hotels? That nobody wants to stay in. Because the rent's so high. Leaving only cheap gasoline, blankets, books, and moderately expensive food items for everyone else. So, the moral of the story is don't hoard. Be nice, share. Anyways, enjoy your stay at home and stay healthy.